Brought to you by Penguin.
A Sharp Scratch by Heather Darwent. Read by Abigail Lawrie. Think little of thy flesh, blood, bones, and a skin, a pretty piece of knit and twisted work, consisting of nerves, veins, and arteries. Think no more of it than so. Meditations, Marcus Aurelius. Preface. For many years, I heard stories. A girl in HR hinted at something unsavoury as we hovered around the kitchen in our break. Snippets of gossip to mull over as our lunches spun in the row of office microwaves. Outside's crusty, inside's boiling away. A long beep and we'd poke with a finger to check the leftovers were hot. The conversation ended. There were other things too. A friend of a friend would be off the radar for a while. I'd email and there would just be nothing, or a cheerfully worded, if vague, bounce back. And then there were the rumours that followed in breathless whispers. Couldn't hack the pace. Fucked up nose job. Then a complete and utter breakdown. Maybe they've gone self-employed, freelancing in Portugal. I think digital nomad. I know, so predictable. They always said they'd do that, but I haven't heard from them. Not in ages. Too long. An ex-colleague said a neighbour returned from God knows where, and she was a bit different. It was just an offhand comment, our eyes meeting above our screens, and I didn't press her for more. The word agitated came up, and paranoid too. But then there were the girls who came back better. Somewhat revived, apparently. I must emphasise that none of these stories were serious. It wasn't like they were missing girls on the news, their full names, their former jobs, their desperate, crying spouses imprinted on our minds forever. It wasn't like that, because these girls came back. So there was no reason to probe. They were just people who'd gone off-grid for a while. I was focused on my own problems, which felt entirely unrelated, though the word agitated stayed with me for some time after I left the office. A cramped, prickled word. A ball of barbed wire cutting the throat when I repeated it to myself, even though I didn't know these girls, and I didn't know where they'd been, and I didn't know what had happened to them. Before Carn. Chapter 1. It was the beginning of a long heatwave in Edinburgh. Hot for May, when the late spring days were usually pinched with rain. Oh, how lucky we were to have it on my, or our, big day. Something we'd planned for so long, until it snuck up on us in the end. We had breakfast out on the balcony because that was a nice thing to do, and the room was stuffy anyway, filled with a warm haze of coconut deodorant. It was like we couldn't breathe. Up above, blue as far as the eye could see, and not a single cloud. Eggs for breakfast. The hollandaise hanging off them was thick at first, until it wept across the plate, flattened by the heat. I was rarely hungry back then, and it was too hot for flabby eggs, but we picked at them anyway. The thought came to me that I could crack an egg on the ground, and it would fry and sizzle on the paving stones. I'd seen it happen once on TV, on the Strip in Las Vegas. When I mentioned it to Siobhan, my only bridesmaid, her eyes widened. "Betsy," she scolded, "why are you saying things like that today of all days? Just chill out about the eggs." Siobhan did not respond well to odd comments. They seemed to puzzle her. Her voice went all high and confused, her lovely face screwed up tight. I suspect...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?